Hi there, this is Tara from Topwriters. Today I'd like to explain how we do our editing and proofreading. Although they may seem like the same thing, they are actually quite different. You can think of editing as like baking a cake. Ensuring that all the ingredients are correct makes a delicious tasting dessert. Proofreading then is like putting icing on the cake, adding in the details with delicate decorations on top that will grab the attention of the dessert lovers, causing them to want to discover more on the inside. So I will be going over each element for each process when we review books. So let's get started. So first, we need to open our document as we have here and turn on our review settings. If you are using Microsoft Word, then you'll want to go to the Review tab, click the down arrow on Track Changes, choose for everyone, and then click Track Changes. This will turn on the review function in Word. You can also do this in a Google Doc by clicking the down arrow next to a pencil icon on the far right of the toolbar. Then choose Suggesting to show edits for the writer to be able to review and accept or reject changes. For the purpose of this video, we will focus only on Microsoft Word to show how we generally work here at Topwriters. Let's get started with the editing process. I already have a document open and I will begin editing. We will just do a couple of examples so that you can see what each category looks like for editing. So the first one is syntax correction. Now, syntax generally refers to the word order. It is connected to the sentence structure and vocabulary, but it is not the same as grammar. So, for example, in this sentence, we want to change the wording in the word order, So you'll see, I did not really change the wording nor drastically adjust the sentence structure. Rather, I focused on the syntax of the sentence to make it read more naturally. Continuing on with the improved sentence structure, we often find that some sentences are too long for expressing an idea. For example, let's stay in the same paragraph, but go to the end. So here, anytime that we see a sentence start with and, that's a red flag for an editor. So we're going to change this very long sentence and again, the overall wording has not been changed, but the structure has been adjusted by breaking the one long sentence into two and removing the initial and later ands as we try to avoid using too many conjunctions within one sentence. The next category is vocabulary recommendations. Often, editing is about choosing more appropriate vocabulary or natural-sounding word choices. In these cases, I prefer to use the comments function rather than edit in line, as the writer might have a reason for choosing the words they do that I don't know. Therefore, if we go back to our first sentence and we see the word ingest, it's not quite so natural. So I'm going to make a comment here. And I might say something like this. In this way, the writer can see that maybe the word isn't so natural, and they can choose to adjust the sentence accordingly or justify why they've written it that way. In the next section, then we talk about the better flow and clarity in the writing. So again, for comments related to flow and clarity, I usually use the comments function rather than inline editing. So the writer can consider how to make portions of text flow more naturally or clarify points that may not be obvious to an external reader. So for example, I might make a comment here with something like this. This refers to how the text reads, and so I will make a point as to how an external reader is reading it, and the writer can then adjust if they understand, and they have the freedom then to revise accordingly. So this is just a brief overview on how the editing process works with top writers. I hope that it makes sense. Next, we will talk about how to do the proofreading. Now remember that proofreading is like the icing and decorations on a cake. Most readers will decide whether or not something is worth reading based on the level of proofreading. Seeing errors in grammar, typing, punctuation, or spelling is a perfect way to ensure that a reader stops engaging with the text. Therefore, it is very important to proofread a text well by paying attention to detail and being thorough. Now, there's no need to go through each category separately, as they are pretty straightforward. So I will show you briefly what it looks like when I am proofreading. So there, you can see I've done just a few changes in the proofreading with changing capitalization, adjusting here and putting in the common acronym that is used throughout the text. I put in a punctuation where needed and changing the spelling, which also changes the word form. So you can just see it's fairly straightforward to do the proofreading. And there's no need to do the comments in this section. You just simply make the edits for the proofread. And that is how we do the editing and proofreading process here at Top Writers.